Hi Darren, hope you're well, mate. Hi Jed. My battery run out, Jed, on my other little Facebook live thing, so I've had to come and get round and feed the lakes before it gets too late again. Hello Steve. My phone died, Steve. I've got my supper for tomorrow. Hi Gary. Gary, I was just fly fishing on the lake, the trout lake, and yeah, I was just doing a Facebook live thing, and my phone died, battery died. So we're just around. This time of night we're around again feeding, because none of you anglers are out fishing the lake, so got to feed them, feed the fish. Steve, my phone is not cheap, it just died, my battery. Hello Kat, my wife Kat. I'm just feeding here, darling. Can the kids hear me? I'm going to turn the thingy round so the kids can see me, darling. There you go. Hello children, hello Alfie. Hello Alfie, Scarlett and Ronnie. I was just putting a bit of grab out for these. Hi Leanne. So we're on the moat lake now, just feeding. Just feeding the pegs on here, and then I shall feed the Islands Lake. I've already fed the Wild Lake, and then we shall go up to the Oaks Lake. Sorry for boring everyone. I think I've done one a couple of days ago, but Facebook Live, I've done one a minute ago, but it died, my phone died, so just keep you all up to date on what's going on. Right. Hi Jack. Hello Kat. Hello John. Hello Rob. Right, I ain't fed the Islands Lake for a bit today, so we'll go and feed that now. So in the moat we're feeding some micro pellet and some 4mm pellet. That's what I've been giving them on the moat. That's all sinking pellet. It's a coarse pellet. I don't like using trout pellet. It's very oily and it's not good to give them too much oil. That's why I'm really anal about what people throw in the lakes. There's no inlet of water. What water is in there is in there. We've got no streams running through it or anything like that. So that is why I've got to be very careful on what goes in the lake. Why am I puffing and panting? Mate, if you had a gut like me, you would be as well. This here is a 4mm floating pellet. So that's what we're on now. We're now on the, look, the bloody geese know what we're doing. We're now on peg 6 on the islands. Let's give them a bit of grab on here. I will be putting some sinking pellet in here, but I'm trying to keep the carp up in the water. Old and fat, that's right. I'm trying to keep the carp up in the water to start off with, because if I fed sinking pellet straight away, as you can see, the carp comes straight up for it. I don't know if you can see. We'll come back here in 2 seconds. But if I put the sinking pellet straight down, the carp will go straight down to the bottom. Nothing else will get a look in. Now you've got to remember, these lakes are solid with fish. A lot of fish in these lakes, and there's a lot of mouths to feed. So that is the method behind my madness. That's why I feed these. Again, they're 4mm expanding pellet. So we feed the top. If no one is fishing these, always feed the top first, the carp will come and eat it. Then after I've done that and the carp are munching on the top and they're happy and content. You're a twat, Steve. I am carrying my breasts around. When they're happy and content, I then put some sinking pellet down. Again, 4 mil and some micros to feed the smaller fish on. And that just allows the smaller fish to feed. Otherwise they wouldn't get a look in. I cut the grass here, look how bloody the state of it, but what grass we have got I cut the other day. So you can see what I mean, here we are. So the carp are coming straight up for it, as predicted. Don't know if you can see. So once they've got their heads up in the water and properly feeding, I will then go along and feed the stuff that's further down. The bream, the skimmers, the barbel. How you doing, Martin? I took some pictures today, I'm going to send them over to you on the other bit, across the way there. This is why I'm self-isolating, Steve. You can hear how heavy breathing I am. I think I've got asthma. That's my excuse, while I'm huffing and puffing. Doesn't it look lovely up here? Doesn't it look like... Here we go. Here we are. You can see the carp. Carp are feeding like mad. So are the bloody geese. We'll go around here and put a few on here. As I said, for those that are joining, the reason I do what I'm doing, there's no anglers up here. There's no anglers up here fishing, feeding my fish. So I have to feed them. Otherwise they'd starve. A lot of mouths in here. So what I'm doing, for those that have just joined us, I'm feeding 4 mil expanding floating pellet out for them. The reason I'm feeding the 4 mil rather than the 6 mil, these will expand. So what you've got to remember is, when they're in their gut, they will expand as well. Hence, that's why I'm putting 4 mil in. There's a method behind me madness. So that'll expand, and again in a second I shall go along and I shall feed the micro, and which is a 2 mil pellet basically, and the 4 mil. The 4 mil, they're hard pellets so they won't expand. As I said to you before, the reason I'm putting these expanders out is to get these carp on the top so the other fish have got a chance for the bait to get down and feed the fish on the bottom, i.e. the bream, the roach, the barbel. There's a lot of barbel in these lakes. I've just done that on the moat. I've fed, I don't obviously feed any floating baits in there because there's no carp in there. Now, it's kind of black with them on here. I could actually walk across the water if I weren't so fat with carp. So we'll go now and we'll feed the feed these little beauties. So this is the sinking pellet now. I like you, Dax, you're my fat friend. Thanks, Steve. We've known each other a long time. Hi, Andy Jackson. Bloody geese. Bugger off, goose. Hi, Bill. Hope you're well, mate. So we're having to feed them sort of 2 or 3 times a day, the fish. Hi, Pete. Get some kit out. Let's see your float go under. Bryn, I'm probably going to have a day fishing on the Tuesday. This Tuesday, I think I shall have a day, and I'm not sure. I've got some hemp and tears in the freezer. I love catching my silverfish. I might have a go on there, but I might also, I love my silverfish, I might have a go. Look at the fish just come up over there. Old pigeons flew over and spooked the fish on the top. So I might have a go on the Oaks Lake and try for some skimmers. Anyone can go on there and catch carp. Anyone can go and catch them. But if I fish, I like to target a species of fish. So Tuesday, I ain't got any worms. I like to use chop worm and caster if I'm fishing up there for them. And but I haven't got any. So I might fish corn. And I've just had some new ground bait samples sent to me. So I might try that. Tony Harp, every time I see this place it looks awesome. I've never fished there and I keep saying I'm going to come over. But we never do. Once this is all over with the coronavirus, I think I'll need to pay it a visit. Tony, you don't know what you're missing, me old fruit. You don't know what you're missing. Right, so again, makes me laugh. Everyone says how peggy it is, but not being funny. I've just gone round and fed. You can feed anywhere. We're on peg 2 now. Look, peg 1. It's solid. It's absolutely solid. They're in a peg. It could be one off any peg. I don't care what anyone says on this lake. It could be one off any peg. It is not peggy. There's fish in every single peg, as I'm proving now. It doesn't matter where I throw bait. There's fish everywhere. Simple as that. So when all you match anglers saying it's peggy, my answer to you is it's not. Look, wherever I throw bait, there's fish. It doesn't matter where I throw bait, the fish will come up. It's like that, over there, here, wherever. The lake is solid. All the lakes are solid. It is not peggy. The Moat, yes, I'd go with people on that. The Moat is my favourite lake. It does look Melbacks as well. The Moat is peggy. I think the reason why it's peggy is there's no carp in there and the fish tend to back off. So from peg 13, which is over there, all the way up to 18, these are the deeper pegs. Now, if I was on a match on here, I'd want to draw here, without a doubt. Peg 16 is a renowned barbel peg. This is a peggy lake, I agree. It is a peggy lake, but there's that many fish in here. Again, it could be one off any peg. But when you get a lot of people on here, they don't like it. The lake shuts off, but that is what I like about it. You've got to use your head. You really have got. I'd love to have some of these international people like Mark Pollard, Steve Ringer, all the names, the big boys. I'd love to have a match on here and see if that's any difference. I have got some brilliant anglers on here. Pete Archer, for example, who's watching us live now. He fished this peg over here, absolutely emptied it. Huge bags of fish from here with his mate. Fish a chuck all day long. You put loads of people on here, boom, you don't like it. It really doesn't. But again, that's fishing for me. That's fishing for you. It's not catching, it's fishing, and that's what I like about this lake. That's why it's my favourite lake. Right, let's go. Let's go to the Oaks Lake. So they've had their fill again now. I've got a bit of bait left here. I don't know if we've got enough. I've got a few in there. I'll have the Moat Ian as well. Favourite lake. Right. I'm going to spin this over because my kids are having tea at the moment, and they'll want unlike you lot, they'll want to see my face. So just let me say hello to them. Hi, Alfie. You okay, Alfie? You enjoying your dinner? Cat, can you get me a couple of beers, please? I'm just going to come to the door in a second. I'm just going to have a quick look here. If you can, I'd love you more than ever. Let's have a look. We're on the Wold Lake now. So the Wold Lake's got mirrors and commons in it, and there's catfish in here. I flicked a few floaters out earlier on, just before I started feeding the moat, and see if they come up. The problem what I've got here, the bloody geese. The geese, there they are. The geese, the geese hammer everything. But they are up in the water. They're looking for grub. Two there, I don't know if you can see them. Personally, this lake don't float my boat. I'm a match fisherman or a match style fisherman. I don't fish any matches anymore. I can understand it just to sit and chill out and stuff like that, but for me, I can't be arsed sitting there all day for one big fish. And there's a lot of people that do, and I understand that a little bit, but this isn't my favourite lake. Look here though, guys. Don't know if you can see that right in the bank. Big common there. I'll give that £30. I kind of understand wanting to catch a big one, but it would bore me senseless. Look at them, there's 4 there. It would bore me senseless sitting waiting for the big ones. Hi, Mel. But each to their own. I love the lake. I love. Hey, look at that beauty. I love the lake. And but the big fish don't interest me. I went marlin fishing in Mauritius, and I went with a chap. We hired a boat. We chartered this boat out. I'd never caught a marlin before, and I was lucky enough to catch one. So was the other chap in the boat, and but we sat in there trawling around, and hooked into a marlin. I've got its head and its tail in the office. When you walk in the office on the right hand side, you'll see its head. I didn't particularly want them to kill it, but they did, and I do actually like eating marlin. But they did, and I had it shipped back from Mauritius back to here. But the point I'm making is, it's a huge fish. It was, I forget, it's written on the board, it was 100 and whatever pounds, I forget now. 160 odd pounds or whatever it is, I forget now. And if you look in there, all the information's on there. And you lot probably think it's not real, but it is real. It's the fish that I caught. Anyway, I hooked into it. They strapped me in on the boat, on the chair thing, and I pulled my bollocks out for half an hour, bringing it in, give myself a hernia virtually, and that was it. So again, big fishing don't excite me too much, but I do get why people like it on this lake. It's a beautiful lake. It's full of some huge fish, as you can see. As you can see here, that, and some quality fish. I'd sooner go and catch, personally, I'd sooner go and catch 5 to 10 pound of roach on the river and catch that stinky thing. But they are, everyone's different, especially the catfish. But I am going to have a go. I've been baiting up. So, well, because no one's been fishing here, I'm sort of contradicting what I'm saying now, really, because over there, just off my jetty, if you can see over there, there's my missus in the kitchen. Hi, Cat. Wave at me out the window, darling. Cat, wave at me out the window. She's ignoring me. Anyway, out by my jetty there, I've been feeding boilies non-stop. So I might stick a rod down there and do a Facebook Live, see if I can catch myself a catfish. Say again, Cat. It's a beautiful evening here. Absolutely stunning. Oh, he was waving out the window. Well, wave out the window then. Say hello to people. There you are, she's waving. Cat, do me a favour, grab me a couple of beers, darling. Can you grab me a couple of beers? Come in. There you are. That is a good wife. I'm very lucky. What's the biggest? What's the biggest what? What is the biggest what? There you are, I can hear Alfie. I want to grab my beer and then we shall go up and we shall feed the Oaks Lake. Been mowing a bit of grass. I mowed round the Oaks today. We mowed all the festival field. Bruce mowed the festival field. I've been mowing the... You got me what, Alfie? A couple of beers? I'm coming up to you now. Have they got the tops off, Alfie? Have you been drinking more beer, Alfie? Thank you. I don't know how I'm going to manage this. I've got 2 beers here now. Say hello to everyone, Cat. Lisa's there. Say hello to Lisa. Let's let me see my babies. Let's come and see the babies. Hello. What? There's a delay on. There's a delay on this. So I'm now live. I'm now live. I'm just going to hold it there. How long is that delay? That's mad. Hang on, Alfie.
You can hear how high pitched you are.
Oh no, I'm very high pitched. Well,
Daddy. You know your yogurt, Alfie.
strange. That is really weird, isn't it? Right. Right, I'm going out of here. It's a bit of a nut house and it's weird. I'll tell you what else is weird as well. When I done that Facebook Live, Alfie shush, when I done that Facebook Live, it looked like I was fishing left-handed.
Yeah, it's back to front.
It was, because I flipped it round.
Mum's been doing children's stories in the morning, and when she reads the book, it comes out back to front.
So cute. Alfie, I reckon you're cute. Alfie, what is our saying? A good rabbit? Right. I've got my beer. You can understand why I have to have 2 beers at a time. Jesus, man. There's a nut house in there. Get their looks from them, mum, you cheeky. Hey? I love you, darling. Thank you. Sorry. It is a nut. I'm not swearing. I haven't sworn once. What swear word did I say? Don't swear at me. You called me a numpty. It is. It is a swear word. That is a swear word. Alfie. Ah. Right. I'm going away now with 2 beers in my hand because I can. And I love my children, but I'm going away. Look, 2 beers. Luckily, this is designed for an alcoholic. So you've got 1 beer there, holder, and another one there. See it there? Right, let's go and feed the Oaks Lake. Now, I'm not saying drinking and driving is good, but sometimes You have to. Oh. Exactly, room for a crate of beer on the back. There's the old digger, done the roads. So we're heading up to the Oaks Lake now. Bit late now, getting a bit late. I don't take any notice of the rules up here. Hi Teresa. Right, we're up on the Oaks Lake. Got my beer. Got some pellet. We are a bit late for feeding this, but we shall see. We'll see what happens. There should be a few come up. I've been feeding this today quite heavily. Did you tarmac the drive? I wish I bloody had the money to. I filled all the potholes in there, most of them. It's crazy that I do feed it, to be fair. I do subsidise it anyway, but if you've got matches on here and you've got 20 people on there, you don't need to feed it. You guys are feeding it for me, but it's costing me a bloody fortune. So obviously we're going to have a whip round and give me some money. I'll just randomly throwing it in now, just to feed everywhere really. There's no set format for what I'm doing, I just want to give them some grub. Lovely evening. I've got shorts on today, which is rare for me, and my little white legs. I mowed the grass round here earlier on today. As you can see, looks nice. Looks very nice. Some places don't, where it's really wet. But a lot of it looks nice. So we're coming up the right-hand side of the lake. Hello, Chicken George. How are you doing? That's Right, let's have a look at some of the comments on there. How do you refrain from fishing every day? To be honest with you, mate, I'm so busy with doing other stuff. Today I've actually had a day off and I spent it with the kids and Kat. We've had an Easter egg hunt. We had a little bit of a picnic on the festival field, which was nice. I spent 20 minutes fly fishing for my tea. Yeah, so that's how I refrain through working, I suppose, a lot of the time. But today I've actually had a bit of time off with the kids. It's been nice. It is a lovely evening this evening. Still warm, I'm still in my shorts now. We'll be coming to Fishaw Lakes when this lockdown is lifted by the government. Matt, I need people like you to come up here and fish these, mate, because this is going to cripple me. I'll be honest with you, I've got to make money in the summertime to keep me going in the winter time, basically. So yeah, it's I mean, I'm sure all you guys are in the same boat, but it's crippling a lot of people. A lot of people. Hi, Mark. Mark, here. I want to fish on the Oaks Lake, Mark. I'm going to fish on it on Tuesday. The carp are feeding like mad. I don't want to catch the bloody stinky carp. I want to try and target the bream, Mark. Now, I'm sure all of you heard of Mark Pollard. He's watching us live now. I've got no caster, Mark, got no chopworm and caster. I've got some of your Hinders ground bait. They've sent me some samples and I am going to be trying that out, Mark. I forget what ones I've got. But if I use that, a bit of muck, a bit of ground bait in there, and what do you reckon, corn on the hook? Or then if I put pellet in there, mate, the carp will just annihilate me. I want to try and catch some of these bream that are in here. What would you recommend? If you can make a comment on here now. I don't know what peg I'll fish, but as you can see, look at the carp are just mental. I just feed like mad on here. So big carp as well. Carp everywhere, look. Hi Dax, do you have double pegs that me and the missus can... Yeah, got loads of them, mate. Right, okay, Mark Pollard's just replied. Corn or try dead maggot with bulk down? Mark, I've got no maggot. This is a problem. I've got some corn. I have got pellet. I've got some of your ground bait, the Hinders, which I'm going to try. They've sent me some samples, but corn in, I reckon. Feed open water away from the carp with ground bait. So do you think, Mark, as well, if I fed a pellet line to keep the carp there, well away from where I'm feeding the ground bait, feed open water away from the carp with ground bait. So just feed a ground bait line, Mark. That's what I was thinking, a ground bait line, maybe putting some micro out on another line, well away from where I'm going to be trying to catch the bream. What do you reckon, Mark? Feed ground bait, open water, fish corn. Yeah. That's good, that's what I thought. So definitely put a pellet line in as well, Mark. That's what I'm thinking, just to keep these carp away, basically. No, just don't feed too much. Okay, I should try it. We'll have a go. I think I'm gonna come and fish here on the Oaks Lake. I don't know what peg to fish, maybe an open bit of water, no pellet line. No, pellet line if you do well, away. Yeah, okay. I agree, Pete, it will be carp soup, but that's the challenge that I like to do, is try and target my fish. Anyone can come in here and catch carp, but trying to get a nice bag of, especially it's gone warm, the sun's out. If I can target these bream, there's some lovely bream in here, lots and lots of them. But again, it's getting through these bloody carp. But I'll have a go. I wish you could join me as well, Mark. And don't forget, Mark, I still want you to do a feature on my bit of river when you get a minute. I know you're a busy man, and I know it's close season, but yeah, Why do you want to target the bream? Matt Graves. I'll tell you why I want to target the bream, because I hate carp. I don't hate them, they just don't float my boat. Wild farm, what a fishery. Unreal, credit to you, Dex. Thank you, Mark, but wild, that's better. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm not mad on carp. I just said in my post earlier on, personally, I would sooner catch the silverfish. I don't know why. I'm old school. I was brought up fishing on the river. I was very fortunate enough I still am fortunate. I rent all the river that I used to live at the back of me. I rent all that from a farm called Bedfordia Farms. It's the River Great Ouse. I was brought up against down the bottom of there. We had an old railway carriage, not a railway carriage, we had an old, that beer's gone to my head. We had an old railway cottage. And literally the bottom of our garden was the river. Years ago, I forget the name of the club now. Bedford Angling Club used to have it. Then Phoenix had it, and then I've had it for about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years or something now, I suppose. And yeah, so I was brought up catching silvers, stick float, hemp and tears, maggot, castor, etc. 1.5 Maxima line. I'm really showing my age now, old school. Size 20 hooks, but catching good chub. Years ago, you could catch, if you caught 20, 25 pound of chub down there, you'd had a cracking day. Really cracking day. The chub were a lot smaller then. There was, if you caught a 3 pound chub, you'd caught a bloody good chub. Now they're catching 7 pound chub. It's just different. The rivers aren't the same as what they used to be. But that's my stomping ground. That's what I like. That's how, you know, that's what I like to do. I like my silverfish, basically. So the carp aren't... Yeah, the carp don't float my boat. Ian Stanley Wilson. I prefer to catch silvers in the Oaks. What I've gone and done, Ian, I've taken a lot of the big roach out of here. In fact, every single big roach I could net has gone out into the moat now. The moat is unbelievable. I think I'm going to fish here on a Tuesday, and then maybe next week, if we're still on this lockdown, I shall fish the moat and fish it maybe on hemp and tears, or fish shallow, if the weather stays like this, fish shallow up in the water, and try and catch some of these roach and that. It's black out there. I don't know if you lot can see. It is black with carp, and I mean black. We're on the Oaks Lake now. Absolutely solid all the way up the lake. I don't know if you can see up there, it's getting darkish now, but there's fish everywhere. It's absolutely solid, and we're not talking small carp, we're talking decent carp in here. But so what I've been doing again, so those that have just joined us, I'm feeding the 4mm expanders, and these are Skretting pellets. I'm feeding them out on the top. The reason I'm feeding the top first is so the carp come up in the water, as you can see. I don't know if you can see this. The carp will come up in the water as I'm feeding these expanders, and then I shall now go and feed. I don't know if you can see that. These carp will come right in. They'll come in here. I shall now go and feed some micro pellet, which are like a 2mm hard pellet, and some 4mm pellet hard pellet. The reason I'm feeding the 4mm expanders, which are floating pellets, is because they will swell up slightly. I have got 6mm, but when I feed like this, I always feed the 4mm pellet on the top, because they will expand, and they'll expand in their gut, so you've got to remember that. Now I'm feeding them off the top to get the carp up in the water. As you can see, there's 1 or 2 carp up in here. Now I will go along now and I will feed some micro and the 4mm hard pellet, so it won't expand, but the fish have got a chance down underneath all these carp. The fish have got a chance, the bream, the roach and the barbel, etc., can have a chance of getting some grub. Otherwise, these things, they won't have a chance at all. They will not have a chance. The food just won't get down there. So that's why I do what I'm doing. So we'll go over now. We shall go over now. I'll probably just put about 4 pints of pellet out there, and there's not a pellet left. They've just munched it, all the carp. Hence, that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm now going to go and feed this the sinking pellet that will get down to the bottom and give them other fish a chance to feed. So look now. What are you doing with the clubs who had matches booked until this lockdown was imposed? So Bill, what I'm doing, mate, is having to turn money away. This weekend I had 2 matches booked in today. I had 2 matches yesterday. Unfortunately, I've had to turn them down. You can rebook. Love you to rebook and stick with me later on in the year. But yeah, I've had to turn money away. I'm obviously I could fill this place up with pleasure anglers. Obviously, there's a lot of people off work now, but you've got to respect the government. That's why we're in this mess. If we don't all stick to it, hang on a sec. Let's turn that round. Yeah. So just let me have a sip of my beer. I'll never talk so much. What I urge you guys to do is stay away from the banks and everything at the moment. Listen to what the government are saying. And if we don't, we're going to be in this bloody mess for a long time, I think. I've had to shut the gates. I'm losing money. You guys are all in the same boat. You'll all be losing money. But we need to stick together with this and try and crack it all. Otherwise, we're never going to be let out. Right, here we are. So we've got we've got some 4mm and some micros here. If I was fishing it, I would soak these in water. They love soft pellet up here. I'd soak it, and also if I throw them out like so, a lot of these will float. Not float, but they'll stay up in the water for a bit. If you're fishing and you want your bait to get down, I'd always recommend damping them down, and they do like soft pellet. So now what we're doing, we're feeding this hard pellet just to give the other fish a chance. Look at it here, it's ridiculous. Just to give the bream and that lot a chance. You look here, them pellets that I dropped in the water right on the edge. You look here, look. This isn't my willy, this is my finger. Right, here we go. So we're putting some of this out. Let's try and get them some down there. There's that many mouths in here. They've ate it. They've ate the bleeding lot. Look. They've ate the lot. I'll just put a serious amount of pellet out there. They've ate that. They've ate it up here. So now we're going to go and try and feed some of these sinking pellets to get it down in the water. Get the other chance for the other fish to eat as well. I've got my dad feeding the other lake, the other 2 lakes down where the shooting range is. Got a lot of trout and that lot in them, but so dad's feeding them, so I'm not going to go over there this evening. They've been fed 4 times today, so they won't need any more grub. I'll give you another little tip as well. And I sit and watch, I see what goes on up here. You get a match on here, or you get pleasure anglers coming up. And say you got someone, for example, we're on peg 6 now on the Oaks Lake. If they've been fishing out towards the island, which is a key feature, or wherever there's lilies on every peg, you can't see them now because the geese and so on have eaten them all. And we're coming in, we're in the springtime. There's some just poking their heads up there. I don't know if you can see them. There's a lot of lily pads on here. A lot of people fish into the lily pads. Personally, I wouldn't. The fish live in there. If you get the fish feeding, they're in there. If you get them feeding out over here in an open water, you're not going to spook all the fish in them lilies. They'll come out feed. That's my opinion. Great watching Dax the Queen speak at 8. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, so we've got, I better, what's the time now, anyone? Didn't know she was doing a speech. Anyway, yeah, what I would do is not feed the lilies. I'd fish away from them, maybe in the open water, or whatever, and get your fish feeding away from them lilies. What will happen when people are finished with their bait, I see it all the time. They've finished their day's fishing, they've been fishing over there or to the lilies or wherever they've been fishing. And when they've got a bit of bait left over, they dump it down there. Got a little few maggots or whatever, bam, they dump it down there. So when I walk round after everyone's left, I come round, and if you look, I don't know if you can see in there, that's gone chocolate. Absolutely chocolate. Chocolate there. I've just thrown a bit of pellet down there, and that's what happens. The fish come in right down the margins. That's why the margins are really, really good to fish. Really, really good to fish in the margins, especially when the weather warms up. Obviously, in the winter time, the colour drops out, so you need to fish a bit further out, and maybe you need to fish to these features, the lilies, etc. But yeah, you learn a lot. I'm not saying I'm the best fisherman in the world, because I'm not, but you do learn a lot through watching people. For example, like Mark Pollard, he's just been on here chatting away. If Mark's been up here fishing, if I've got time, I'll come and sit behind him. You'll learn so much through sitting behind someone, a good angler like that, and just picking their brains. And Mark, same as the ringers. Steve Ringer, he's done a lot of features up here. Polly's done a lot of features up here. They don't mind actually giving you information. They're nice guys. They want you to get out on the bank catching fish. And the good thing is, they don't mind giving you that information. But I learn a lot through listening to people. I get a lot of good anglers, not just the sort of, not the international anglers, but the commercial that earn a living out of fishing. Get some other good anglers up here, and I try and sit behind them if they're up here as well. People like Mel Baxter, Archer, Pete Archer. There's just a few names there, but if you sit behind these people, they'll give you information, and you'll learn a lot just through sitting behind people watching. I used to do it when I used to be down the river. The rivers years ago used to be packed. Used to be packed with people. Not anymore. But hello, Mark. Yeah, the rivers used to be packed with people. So I was fortunate enough to have the river down at the back of me in at Oakley, and if I used to sit down there for hours watching people fish. All the time down there. That's how I learned how to fish. Just sitting behind Steve Drack. He's another good one. His son James Drack. Fantastic anglers. Very good river anglers. Natural waters. Learned a lot from them sitting behind him. I used to carry Steve's kit sometimes years ago and just sit behind him watching him picking up tips, but they don't like these commercials, this is a commercial. They like fishing the naturals on the rivers and stuff like that. Very good river anglers. Mark Wilson, another good angler. Very ugly person, but a good angler, may I say. Cheers, mate. We were on one of the clubs due on the moat today. Hope Andy Miller has rebooked his matches at World. Yeah, Andy, I phoned Andy after the people that have booked in with me coming up. For example, this weekend, obviously I had a conversation with everyone and told them we couldn't open up to them because of this lockdown. What's pissing me off, excuse my French, sorry kids as well if you're watching me, what's annoying me is other people just flaunting themselves and going doing what they want to do when they want to do it, and the likes of local businesses are having to shut down, costing ourselves a fortune. And quite rightly so, we should shut down, don't get me wrong. But other people just don't give a toss about anything, and I don't think they realise how serious this is. Yeah, it really, really, really annoys me. Right, got to go now. The Queen's speech is on. Right, I'm going to go as well now, guys. Stay safe. That's all my feeding done. I'm going to fish Tuesday. I'm going to go back and watch this Queen's speech. So, didn't know it was on, but see you later.